In this video, we would learn how to solve system of equations. So we have this problem. We have three equations in three variables, and we would be using Gauss-Jordan method. So our first task is to write down augmented matrix, and this is how it will work. So you have to write down these coefficients here: 6, y here coefficient -1, z is -4, and then constant 35. So this would be 6, -1, -4, and 35. In the next row, from second equations, coefficients would be like 5. And we don't have y here, so we would assume that it's a 0y. So we put a coefficient 0, and then for z we have coefficient 2, and then constant is 46. Then in the third equation, so we have no x, so it means that we assume it's 0x. 0, 2, and then 1 and 5. Right, so this is augmented matrix, and now we have to perform row operations and change this into something look like this one here. So this is Gauss-Jordan form would look like this. So you would have 1 here in the main diagonal is 1, 1, 1, and then above and below zeros. And then in the last column you have some numbers A, B, C. Actually A, B, C could be any real numbers, so I just put them A, B, C. So you have to perform row operations on this matrix, augmented matrix that you have, and change into something look like this one. So let's start, and we perform row operations. So now first to make 1 here. So I can either divide this row by 6, right, and it will give me 1, or I can subtract row 2 from row 1. So then it was 6 minus 5 gives 1, right? So I can achieve it like this way. So this is how I write. Say R1 means that row 1 minus row 2. So that is my new row 1. And now it would be like, say, 6 minus 5 is 1, and then -1 minus 0 is -1, so -4 minus 2 is -6, and 35 minus 46 is -11. And then everything as it is, so like 5, 0, 2, 46, 0, 2, 1, 5. Okay, so with this one row operation, so we change this 6 into 1. Okay. So next thing is we have to make zeros in this column. So we need this 0. This is already 0, so that part is done. So we have to just make this 0. So to make 0, so what we do is that multiply the first row by -5 and add into this. So -5 and +5 would make it 0. -5 times row 1 plus row 2, that would be new row 2. So it means that we are changing only row 2. So row 1 and row 3 would be as they are, right? So 1, -1, -6, -11, row 1 as it is. So row 2 now we are replacing it with this operation. So -5 and then -5 times 1 is -5 plus 5 is 0. So -5 times -1 is 5, 5 plus 0 is 5. So that is -5 times -6 is 30, 30 plus 2 is 32. And then 5 times -5 times -11 is 55. 55 plus 46 is 0 1. Alright, so row 3 is also as it is 0 2 1 and 5. So we achieved this one, right? So 1 0 0. So the next is that we have to make this 0, this 1 and this 0, right? So again, row operations. So we would first do this task, so making this 1. How we can make it 1? There could be several ways to do it, right? So you can, like, say, multiply this row 3 by some number, like say negative 2, and add it to this one, right? So certainly make it 1, or you can divide this by 5, right? So to avoid those fractions, so what we do is that multiply by this negative 2 and add it to row 2. So negative 2 times row 3 plus row 2, that is new row 2. So row 1 is as it is, 1 negative 1 negative 6 negative 11, and multiply with negative 2 times 0 0 plus 0 is 0. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 5 is 1. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 32 is 30, and negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, and negative 10 plus 101 is 91. And then you have this row 3 as it is. So next is that you make this 0 and this 0. So to make this 0, simply add row 2 into row 1. So to make it 0, and to make this 0, so multiply with negative 2 and add into this one, right? So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So this is how we write. So we would write, say, row 2 plus row 1 is new row 1, and the second would be negative 2 row 2 plus row 3 is new row 3. Okay, let's see what we get. So now row 1, here it says that row 2 plus row 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus negative 1 is 0. 30 plus negative 6 is 24. And 91 and minus 11, so that is 80. Okay, so now row 2 would be as it is, because we are changing only row 1 and row 3. So row 2 is as it is, 0 1, we have 30, 91, and now row 3. Row 3 could be what? So multiply row 2 by negative 2 and add into row 3. So negative 2 times 0 0 plus 0 is 0. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So negative 2 times 30 is negative 60. Negative 60 plus 1 is negative 59. And over here, so negative 2 times 91 is negative 182. Right, so negative 182. And then plus 5. So negative 177. 177. Okay, we reach there. Next we have to make this 1 and this 0 and this 0. So now to make this 1, so we can divide this third row by negative 59. So I would write this way. So negative 1 by 59 times 3 is new row 3. So divide by negative 59 is the same as multiply by negative 159. Negative 1 over 59. Right, so like this way. So this matrix would then look like this one. So now here you see that only row 3 we are changing. Row 1 and 2 are the same. So that's 1 0 24, then 80, and then we have 0 1 30 91. Okay, so now doing this one, so 0 0 1, and now negative 177 divided by negative 59, so that would be plus 3. Okay, next. Okay, so to make this and this 0, so it's easy. So you can multiply third row by negative 24 and add into this one, row 1, and it will make it 0. And to make this 0, multiply third row by negative 30 and add into this one, right? So this is how we write. So negative 24 times row 3 plus row 1 is new row 1, and negative 30 times row 3 plus row 2, this is new row 2. Okay, let's go with that. So first here, negative 24 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. So negative 24 times 0 is 0 plus 0 is 0. Negative 24 times 1 is negative 24 plus 24 is 0. So negative 24 times 3 is negative 72, and negative 72 plus 80 is 8. Alright, so now for second row, so we have multiply row 3 by negative 30 and add into row 2. So negative 30 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 0, 0. So negative 30 times 0, 0, 0 plus 1, 1. So negative 30 times 1, negative 30 plus 30 is 0. So negative 30 times 3, negative 90 plus 91 is 1. And then row 3 is as it is 0, 0, 1 and 3. Alright. So this is our, if you see that, this is our Gauss-Jordan form. See, you have 1 in the diagonal, above zeros, below zeros, and we have these numbers here in the last column, right? 8, 1, 3. Just like we, if let me bring it back, this one, right? So this was what we supposed to, okay, achieve. So 1 in the main diagonal, above 0, below 0, right? So I just draw this vertical line here. So for distinction, so A, B, C, these were supposed to be some numbers, right? So we have 8, 1, 3. So once we reach this one, right? So now our this would be 8 would be x value, right? So if we write the equation, so x 1 times x is equal to 8. So then y is equal to 1 and z is equal to 3, right? So you can write x is equal to 8, y is equal to 1 and z is equal to 3. And we'll write the solution as order triplet because this is a 3 variable. So our solution will be